Hi, welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how far I got on my mitten that I started a couple of days ago. This is based on a very old pattern from the local area where I'm in. And I had someone ask me a question on my TikTok video recently if I had any tips for knitting mittens. And I remember when I started doing mittens, my biggest problem was the thumb. So there's two types of thumbs that I've done. One where you start increasing, making like a wedge for the thumb before the actual thumb finger is knitted, and one like this where you put stitches on the side and the thumb is just basically added on without the extra wedge for it. So now on this mitten I've knitted the ribbing as long as I wanted it and the stocking stitch here, and that should be long enough to where I want to start the actual thumb. So here I'm going to put, the pattern says to put stitches on a thread and a separate thread and then continue knitting. And I remember thinking when I started, this is so complicated. So I'll film a little tutorial of how I do it and hopefully this will help someone else. So let's go. First you have to find a thread with preferably a different color than you're knitting. I only had this white thread. And you use it to knit the stitches you want to put aside for your thumb. So in this case, I wanted 16 stitches, so I knit them on this separate thread. Once that's been done, I always count to check. And then I tie the two ends to avoid the risk of the stitches falling off. There, and once it's been tied, I move the stitches I just knit onto my left hand again. There, once they move back, you can see here this is secure, so it's not going to fall off. And then I will continue knitting with the pattern, pretending that this thread is not there. So just the pattern repeat that would be according to the pattern below that extra thread. So once I finish knitting this whole side here, I'll show you, you can just see the white thread there. If I'd used more of a contrast colour, it'd be easier to see it. Remember, this is the right mitten. If you want to knit the left mitten, you need to put the stitches on the side on the other side of the mitten. Yeah, here you see it, the mitten itself is finished, and this is how the stitches your thumb. First, either untie or cut the string that you put the stitches on. Then you grab the knitting needles you were using earlier, and I always pick up the bottom stitches first, and I like to do it in the right hand V of each stitch. And now that I've done 2 stitches of each colour, it's much easier for me to see which stitch I'm actually picking up. And I usually knit mittens and thumbs using magic glue, so I just have a long circular knitting needle that I use. There, and to do the stitches on top, it's a little bit more awkward to make sure I get the right V, and sometimes it can be a bit tough to find them and to pick the stitches up. Sometimes I will use a crochet hook, so that can make it easier. Just a very fine crochet hook makes it easier to pick up the stitches. Here you see me using a crochet hook because with some stitches on the needle, it can be a bit difficult to get the right angle to the stitches. For this one, I'm picking up using, if I turn the mitten upside down, I'm still picking up in the right hand V of the stitches. So it's kind of the opposite V as when I'm doing the bottom part. So there, all the stitches are now secured with my needle, and then I use, because I had a crochet hook, that's what I'm using to pull out the extra thread. The mid scissors, just make sure you cut the right ones. Use a needle or a knitting needle to pick them out. Alright, so there's my thumb opening. It looks quite big, but when I knit this up, it actually turns out really well. See these loops, they are floats on the back. So be careful when I pick up, so I'm quite careful when I knit the first round that they are on the back. So here I'll probably pick up a stitch on either side. I knit two together on each of the first round. It's now been a couple of days and I've finished most of the mitten. I only have the thumb left, as you saw when I picked up the stitches around it. What I try to show here is for the bits above on the top bit, you have to make sure that the thread that you have looped behind is still behind. That should look pretty good when it gets knitted up. But also for this mitten, because it's been covered with that woolen fabric on the palm, so this will basically be sewn on the inside and let's see, on the thumb. It'll be covering the inside anyway. So on this mitten particularly, it doesn't really matter what it looks like. I will probably pick up a stitch here and here that I'll knit two together at the beginning of each round just to avoid any gap on either side. This is going to be a really great mitten for myself, probably for driving the car when it's really, really cold. In the next couple of days, on the 2nd, we're expecting -20 Celsius. It'll be pretty cold. So I will be finishing this mitten tonight, at least the knitting part of it, and on my second mitten I've already done the ribbing. So it shouldn't take me too long to finish it, and then hand sewing on this. This is a woolen fabric that won't really tear. So it's some kind of woven cloth, wool. In Norway we call it vadmel. And I think this is what they used in trousers way back when. But it won't run or fray, so I can easily just hand stitch it on around the mitten. So I'll see how I get to do that. When it's on my left mitten, I can easily wear it and stitch it on, but on my right hand, I can't really sew with my left hand. So I'll see what I end up doing. But I'll show you an update when I finish them completely, and wishing you Happy New Year's. I'll see you in 2026. Bye!